When I was young, I lived in Northern California in Redding. Always seemed like I was outdoors. I always had a large vegetable garden, and I think that gave me the interest and really opened the door to get into farming. Something I kind of in the back of my mind always wanted to do. My major at Fresno State was biology. It gave me the tools needed and the skills needed to really get where I am today. I had absolutely no background in farming, but I knew I wanted to be outdoors long term. I didn't want to be in an office all day. I worked at the University of California Extension office in Fresno as an ag trainee when I got out of school, and that progressed into a life in farming. I was hired in 1981 at Terra Nova Ranch to be a vineyard manager. And by 1987, I was asked to be the general manager and vice president and have gone on at that position since then. When I first was hired to work at Terra Nova, we grew 3 crops: alfalfa, grain, and cotton. Crops that you could survive at, but you really couldn't move forward with. You really couldn't expand. I took a real look at where we were and where we should be and made a conscious decision to change the direction of the farm. We began bringing in some of the specialty crops. They were more intensive, they took more management skills. They were just something that other people didn't want to try. And believe me, we have tried an enormous number of crops here over the years. Some of them have proven to be very successful. I looked at things differently, I think, than people that have come from generational farms and knew that I could experiment a little more than I think they could and bring new techniques on farm and implement them and see if they worked. We're groundwater dependent here for our farming, and we saw that the water table was continuing to drop about a foot and a half per year. And I realized that we couldn't continue to farm long term unless we did something to change that. We studied it for about 30 years of ways that we could bring floodwater on farm and actually begin to recharge the aquifer. In 2011, we were in the field on a December night, and the fellow that I worked with on the grant said, "Look, we have more water, we need to put it somewhere." And I said, "We'll put it on the wine grapes." His first reaction was, "You're going to kill them." And I said, "No, we're not going to kill them. We can put water on there, we can move water into the aquifer with the growing grapes." When I was young, I used to be around the creeks a lot. They all had wild grapes growing in them. Their roots were in the water almost constantly. So I know they're tolerant. So we started the first AgMar program, on-farm groundwater recharge. I mean, we had one vineyard that we put 13 feet of water on, and we know we increased the water table by 40 feet underneath that vineyard. We worked with the Department of Water Resources, and the governor has actually made groundwater recharge a part of the water resiliency portfolio for the state. It's not the only answer, but it's one of the answers. I really love what I do. You know, it's just been a really rewarding career. Being able to produce food for other people, it's real satisfaction. We have a big responsibility as a farmer, but the challenges that I've faced in farming have really been a blessing for me.